watch YouTube or no?
Yeah. I do my fair share of it.
So, like, I mean, to me, it's just really Rogan, you know, here and there. Like, I kind of knew who Mr. Beast was.
I love Mr. Beast.
Because of my daughter, right? But I was thinking, that's not real. He doesn't give money away. Like, I was just thinking it's like clickbait stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
And when he came out on Rogan, I was like, dude, this guy's an amazing kid. Like...
I followed him for a long time, and like I would
but
see
you
him,
knew he was real?
I would see him on Twitch, and he would just be like, he would tip somebody like $1,000, and he'd be like, is this cussing? Are we cussing out here? No,
oh yeah, you're good. Okay. We're good.
Dude's playing whatever game. Like, what the fuck? Like, oh no! And he would just go. His mind would be blown that he got tipped $1,000, and then he would like do it again. And like that's real. Like he just tipped him $1,000, and then he would do it to another guy and another guy, and it was just like he's just giving away all this like. What is happening? It blew my mind how much money he gave away, just constantly, and it was like, where does he get all this money from? Yeah.
Because I don't think there's really. Well, I think now in this past year, there's been a lot of in depth on him and his life and everything, but I don't think there was a lot about him though, right? Like prior.
I don't think so. I mean, I just saw him on YouTube and just saw his little little clips and stuff for years probably, but I didn't know much about him. I knew he was like a young kid. I didn't realize he was that young because even on Rogan he was like 23, yeah. 23. And he's been around for a long time. He
started when he was 11.
I knew he was obsessive about YouTube, but I didn't know he was that obsessive about it. And he just. I think he got big by like saying one word over and over again or something. Like I can't remember one of his first videos. Yeah. Doing something, counting to 1 million or something stupid like that, but yeah.
Yeah, even on Rogan, he's like, "This is what I sound like," and he doesn't even know what. Well, I guess he's so busy, you know. And
he's doing. Yeah, I thought it was interesting his lack of awareness of like common like pop culture. Like, wait, what's South Park? Like South Park, like he had no clue what like all these common things were, and it was like you're like the guy that is on the trends of everything. Like, how do you not know about so many things? I thought that was interesting.
I think because he's a master, right? 10,000 hours. He's a master of that craft, and he's dedicated so much to it. And what he says he wants to be the first YouTube billionaire.
Something like that, yeah.
So you can imagine, all the effort that goes into that,
You bet. I love him. He seems like nothing but a genuinely nice guy, just giving constantly, not just for attention. And I love the dude, man. And he's very business savvy. Like if you look at his Mr. Beast burgers, he's got zero he's got zero investment in like property. He just has the system, and the companies can go and buy into that system and sell his burgers, and he gets a cut of that. And he didn't do anything. Like he didn't have to do much. He didn't have to buy a property. Put in all these appliances and hire workers and train them. Nope. He just said, hey, "Here's my burger. Settle it."
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing about social media. If you know how to use it to your advantage, right? Because before, right? How old are you now? 39?
41.
41. I'm 43. But you remember infomercials, right?
Yeah.
And day and night, right? And because I remember, do you know who Mark Sisson is? Like Primal Kitchen?
Yeah, I know Mark Sisson. I followed him for a long time.
Yeah, so his story was like, I did infomercials. I did this. I started doing this. I had a blog. And then eventually, it worked for him. But he was like, man, if I had this back then, I wouldn't have to jump.
He could have done the shortcut and just gone right to, I see a lot of stuff. 'Cause I follow a lot of people. I do a lot of like, I follow a lot of just people that are teaching how to do that stuff. And it's interesting to me, although I don't ever like actually follow their advice, but there is 100% like a system to how to use Instagram, how to use YouTube, a way to do it. It's not just getting lucky and posting that one special video or that one image that hits a lot of people. That might happen, but there's so much to it of like how often to post, when to post, what to post, and being very consistent with that over a long ass time.
Yeah, I heard Gary Vee talking about that. I think he was, I don't remember where I heard it from, but somebody was saying, I want to be the next Ellen DeGeneres or Joe. He's like, it's a marathon. It's 7 to 10 years. And if you really think about it, you go, oh man, it's tough. It's tough to have a full-time job, to have a kid, all that makes it really difficult unless you're just dedicating yourself to it and you don't have to worry about exterior things, you know? And I think that's kind of what helped Rogan was he didn't have to do it. He knew it was important And I remember like the first time I heard him, I was like, no one has these conversations.
It's just yeah. He's just talking to a dude about something, just about whatever's interesting, and everyone else is like, that mushroom guy's super interesting, or that I like the ancient alien guys, Georgios Tsoukalos.
He was on there?
Yeah, he's been on there. This is like back in the day, but
Okay.
like he's been on there a bunch of times, and it was just like it was like at like the height of Ancient Aliens, where it was just like everybody was into aliens, and it was just like he's just talking to the ancient aliens, dude, just having a open ass conversation about all sorts of cool, interesting things, and just like there's been so many guests. It's just like I wish I could just sit down and talk. Like I would love to sit down and talk to this guy, and it's not like I think a lot of other forms of interviews they're like interviews. They're they're kind of like structured, and there's time limits, and there's bullet points that the person wants to get across, and it's not just like, oh hey dude, like what are you up to, like what do you it's just like casual conversation that he's talking about their expertise usually, but I don't know, it's just it's more getting to know that person on a deeper level. The person gets comfortable, they open up a little more, they say new things, they say interesting things that you just don't get when you're like, tell me all about social media or whatever. Tell me about your marketing. They're just having a conversation.
And you know what? That's the thing I like the most about like Rogan and kind of the people that have branched off of him is they don't have an agenda, and you can tell when someone has an agenda or they're trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
And there's so much of that, like life coaches and
life coaches.
And to me, it's like I mean, I get it. You're trying to make a living and everything, but to me, it's more like, what are you passionate about? What's your art? It doesn't matter what it is, To me, is do you care about what you're doing, or there's something that you like and you just want to focus on it and grow on it, Like, I don't know, you still do stand-up comedy? So before I even keep going here, I want to introduce Randy because I didn't even introduce him from the beginning. This is Randy Warner. Tell people a little bit about you and what you're currently doing, because the first time I had him was my audio only podcast, and honestly he was one of the first people in Yuba-Sutter area who listened to podcasts and was super open-minded. I knew nothing about him, and we're talking about The Fighter and the Kid and how you went to Calusa Casino.
That's right. We had a blast. We initially thought we were supposed to talk about astronomy, which I totally forgot about that. I remember doing the podcast. I forgot we were talking about astronomy was the main thing.
Yeah.
So I guess about me, like I'm trying to think. I always think like I'm not that interesting. Like I don't know. I guess I've done a bit of stuff. I was part of an astronomy group in the Yuba-Sutter area that we would do like about once a month we would do community star nights where we bring our telescopes out and we would give the community, whoever wanted to show up, we give them tours of the stars. We let them look through our telescopes. We look at the Andromeda galaxy. We try to find planets where planets are out. We look at just some deep sky objects if we can find them. Sometimes they're kind of hard to find. So I had fun with that, and then I did stand-up comedy for a little bit where first I just did it just to do it, and then I ended up taking over as the host for I think the only open mic comedy in the Yuba-Sutter area. So I did that for a handful of years, and that was fun, and I learned a lot of stuff. I learned how hard it is to be funny on purpose, and I learned what it feels like to bomb a bunch, which is not fun. And then from there, I did some morning radio for a local station, 93Q, a Saturday morning show with my best friend, who was also a comedian, and that was fantastic. I had a blast doing that. And now I do a podcast, the Yuba and Sutter Podcast, just talking to people in the Yuba-Sutter area about interesting things and just having a good time with it. So
see, I even forgot about Randy's YaS Cast, right? Or
YaS?
YaS Cast.
Yuba and Sutter. So
Yuba and Sutter. And you started in 2020, right?
I think I started right at the beginning of COVID, probably like June of whenever. COVID started in 2020, right? Like my time frames are
March, yeah.
Yeah,
March
I can't tell if it's been like a million years that COVID's been happening, or if it's new. Like I'm still like, where are we at?
It's hard to keep everything in perspective. I'm just glad we're not all freaking out. I mean, there's still people, but
not in this area. Yeah. Which is nice. It just, I mean, I don't know where other spots are at, but life has been back to normal for probably at least a year here, where everything's been fully open. You might have some masking, but like everything's just opened up and everyone's having a good time.
Do you still work for the state, Randy?
Still work for the state. I'm working from home right now, and I love it because my commute is in Sacramento. I usually work in downtown Sac, which I don't have that commute anymore. So I'm rolling out of bed like last minute, like roll out of bed, hop on the computer, like, okay, I'm at work, just in my underwear. Sometimes I'm not even wearing a shirt for like half the day. I love it. I love it. We're slowly getting back to, I think, going back to the office.
Because I read that because I was reading the Bay Area's recently started getting everyone back, right? And everyone doesn't want to go back.
Like, no, I would take a pay cut probably to stay at home permanently, or it is so much nicer. I don't know, it's just way not. There's so many more things. Like you have these little between times during work where okay, cool, I'm gonna go do a load of laundry right now. I'm gonna do some food prep. I'm gonna go take a walk. I'm going to clean my room. There's little things that you can do that, like when you're in Sacramento, I can't do my laundry while I'm in Sacramento. I gotta wait till I get home and cook dinner and do that stuff.
And get stuck in traffic.
So when you have an hour commute there, an hour commute back, that's 2 hours a day driving on top of having to do all those chores when you get home, where I can take a lunch hour, I can make a good healthy lunch that's made from home, and I can, tidy up the kitchen. And so it's all done already, which is just, I don't think, it's such a huge benefit that is, it's just, I don't ever want that to end for me. Like I love it. I love working at home. I've also found it interesting that like, I don't know what I'm trying to figure out like why this is, but like I'll notice it'll be like 9 o'clock at night time, and I'll be like bored, and I'll be like, I should have my work computer. Like I should I'll hop on my computer sometimes, like check an email or something. I don't know why. I'm usually like when I'm off of work, I am checked out. I'm not going to answer anything. I'm not going to do anything. Nothing is required of me. So it's not like people are hounding me to like, hey, stay later. But it is. I'm off of work. I am checked out. I have no stress on it and whatever. But every once in a while, I'm like, yeah, I got my laptop here. I might hop on work and just. I feel like working at nighttime. I feel like I'm a night person when it comes to working. I don't know why that is, but I'm learning that about myself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I'm more of a morning person, but. I mean, yes and no. It's kind of like hardwired into me, just waking up really early, but to go to bed early. But I hate that when you start waking up early, and then sometimes there's a point in the night where you can't go to sleep.
Yeah, that's me like every night.
I don't know what's going on. I even take like a sleep cocktail from what's that Stanford professor that's been on Rogan and Mark Smelly Bell's podcast.
Well, I'm trying to think. I probably know who he is.
He's like a neuroscientist.
I 100% know who
he has a goatee. Huberman. Andrew Huberman.
Oh, yeah.
He talked about it on Rogan about a sleep cocktail. It's natural. You don't get addicted to it. He says a good thing too is getting that light in the morning before the sun comes out. Even when the sun comes out, I think just kind of looking at it's like protons from the sun that go into your eye to reset your circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little tips like that I kind of like to follow because I like to get into that rhythm. I mean, it's hard. Life is crazy, and it's almost impossible to have like a schedule and a rhythm.
Do you ever feel overwhelmed like listening to like podcasts? Because you listen to a lot of podcasts.
A lot, yeah.
Andrew Huberman's podcast is fantastic. Well, it's a lot of sciencey shit, but it's also like digestible and like, I can understand that. I think a lot of times I listen to these things and like, I think like a Tim Ferriss is somebody who like, oh, this is some good stuff, and all of a sudden you're overwhelmed. Like I can't do all I am just a waste of I cannot follow all this stuff. There's too many things. There's too much stuff to track. There's too many. It's just like this is impossible. I'm just trying to not be too tired throughout the day. It's just one of those things where I get so overwhelmed. It's like. Well, I give up. I'm just going to stay up late and wake up early and be tired all the time. I don't know. I don't know if you ever get that way where it's just like,
oh yeah.
When you hear a process, I do this a lot like dieting. It's like you just got to take this and eat this, and you got to watch out for these levels of this, and make sure you're getting enough of this vitamin. And it's just like, can't we just fucking eat food? And also it's like I just get overwhelmed. I don't have to eat, so I just grab a bag of like Hershey's or something, which is what I'm doing at home now because I got a big bag of Hershey's Kisses. And I'm just chowing down on those. I don't know. I just get overwhelmed, and it's like I'm sure eating anything other than Hershey's is probably healthier.
I'm a stressful eater.
Yeah.
So when I start getting anxiety or there's too many things going on, then I just start eating. And it's just like, damn, I know I shouldn't be eating this, and it's like I don't know, issues happen because I also run a small family business, and I mean, that's just, it's always been like that. There's always issues. There's always employee things.
There's always something on.
There's always something going on. I was listening to your podcast with forget Justin's last name from Justin's Kitchen.
Justin France, yeah.
And I was really, it's like a 3-hour one. I think I only got to like an hour and a half.
It was long. We were doing some drinking. We
It
were
was good.
having
It
a
was
good
good,
time.
though.
It was good. Okay, good. We had a fun time.
I know I've listened to a couple of yours, but I haven't finished a lot of them. I stay like in the middle because sometimes I'll listen to them when I'm cutting meat early and there's nobody around. And I'll have one earpiece in, you know. So, yeah. What made you want to start your own podcast?
I think like it was something like I should do a podcast. Like for years, like I should do a podcast. I just like, and so I think like with comedy, like I got more involved in the community. Like as far as like, I was like the comedy guy, kind of. Which I feel weird saying that because I don't feel like I'm the comedy guy, but like I feel like for a while I was like. So I was like, every month I would do the comedy thing. I'd promote it on Facebook, and through that I met a lot of other people. I met, I don't know, I just made a lot of new connections, and I got more involved in the city. And then through that, I started doing radio, so I got even more connected with people in the city and all that stuff. And I realized like we have a pretty cool area here. Like there's a lot of interesting people. There's a lot of, it's just really interesting. Yeah, I don't know, it's just interesting. And
well, a lot of people don't know about this area, or they assume.
Well, they assume it's like oh, it's just drugs and farms and or whatever. It's like it's kind of like a I don't know, it's a trashy place, but like it's just kind of like a rural like. There's nothing up there in Yuba City. Like you go through Yuba City, you go to Chico, which has a lot of cute shops. It's like there's nothing much in you. But like no, we have like great. Our restaurants are fantastic. I think like Justin's Kitchen is like I don't know, it's mom and pop or whatever, but it's like it's not a chain restaurant, and it is delicious. And I feel like we have quite a few really good restaurants that are not like chain restaurants. So anyway, we just with all these interesting people that I've come across, and I just thought it'd be cool to have a podcast. And during the radio, because the radio we kind of interviewed like usually it was like people doing fundraising stuff or doing events or something. But I just there's so many interesting people. It would be nice to talk to them and get to know them. And then the other aspect was like with elections and stuff. Like you see these people, they might go on the radio show and do their 15-minute bullet points of like but it's like, well, who is this guy? Like I don't know this guy. Like he sounds good in 15-minute bites, but like what about if we sit down and have a 2-hour conversation? What's this guy going to sound like? Is he going to reveal more about himself than just his bullet point version of him? You know what I mean? So I thought. Have
you gotten a lot of those people from your radio interviews onto your podcast?
Yeah, I've had a few. Like I did Sean Harris, he was the mayor of Yuba City. He's on the council now. I'm trying to think. Like Stuart Gilchrist, Gary Bradford.
Sean Harris, he used to be highway patrol. Right?
He was highway patrol. Yeah.
That's a funny story because when I was married, or my daughter's mother, they live on the same street.
Oh.
So before he was like all of that, she was like, "Yeah, look, he's running for."
He's running for mayor. Yeah.
I thought it was city council. He had like a rooster on his.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
On his flyer or whatever.
So yeah, with Yuba City, the mayor is it's like a rotating position with the city council members. But yeah, I've had a handful. I've had a handful of other people just sitting having conversations with them. And I know we have like election season. I start seeing all the signs and like, oh shit, it's election season. So I got to start like reaching out and contacting some of these people to see if I can get them on and just have a good conversation about what. Cause a lot of these things, like I don't even know what half these things actually do. Like, but that's one thing I learned a lot last year about. Like, what do you guys actually do as a city council person or a supervisor? There's so many other positions, and I see all these signs. Like, I don't know what this person does. Like, is this important that we elect this person? Is it like, does it matter? Is it a big deal?
So from interviewing like local government officials, has your opinion changed about any? Did you have a preconceived notion of them?
No, I mean, 'cause I think for most of them, I know them a little bit, like just through social media and interactions and like Yuba City. I feel like there's a lot of like different circles in Yuba City. There's like this group of people that are all kind of in a circle. There's the business circle, and there's these, and I feel like I'm in a good position where I'm like, if I was a Venn diagram, I'd have a little bit in everyone's circle. So it's like I feel like I'm in everyone's kind of. I feel like I'm a little bit. Yeah. So like I'm not like in their circle, but like I know them. I know the people in their circle, and I know this circle too. So I feel like I have access to a lot of different people that maybe like I feel like you hear a lot of people talk about like the good old boys and like, oh, this is like these people are like this and these people are like that. I'm friends with all of them, so it's like I don't know who's right, what's wrong. I don't know what's going on, but I know that I can sit down and have a conversation with this person and hear their point of view and hear what's happening. And I can sit down with this person who's totally opposite and says this person's trash or whatever, and have an enjoyable conversation with them too. And again, that goes back to like I see all this weird stuff going online, like people saying this about this person and that. Like, who are you? Like, who is this person? So it's a good chance to just sit down and talk and like get to know that person.
Yeah. Well, I think you and I are both kind of cuts from the same cloth. We're very open-minded, and I think we'd like to be around people. To me, I like to absorb information from people. Like, you can kind of tell once you start talking to them, you know what they like, you can kind of see, and I think everyone has a good and a bad side, and I think we're all growing and learning, I hate people just stereotyping people and being like, no, this person is that. Because like with what I'm doing now with my podcast and the YouTube channel, it's like Northern California news, right? I'm just digging through stuff and trying to look for like funny. I try not to focus on anything negative.
That's good.
Try to get something that like, because, like you used to commute, I used to commute. I was like, man, it'd be nice if I could just get news with no commercials.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the idea that came to me. And then I was thinking, there's so many stories that you go, no, that's not even real. They're so far out there, and it's like, yeah.
It can't. Yeah.
There's so many of those, and it's just like try to give it a little story to it or your own little take and lighten somebody's commute, have them enjoy their commute. Because I loved podcasts so much, I'd be in the driveway, right? Finishing listening to them.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do. But when you kind of dig with so many stories, you start seeing stuff like corruption, right? And I think corruption happens because you get to a certain point of power and no one's really seeing anything that you're doing. So you're giving yourself. I'll give you an example. The city of San Jose recently asked a city manager. She was making $700K a year.
It's not a bad gig.
But that's like, I think, like the second highest of, like, you're not supposed to make.
it seemed like a lot to manage a city. I have no idea what goes into managing a city, but it seems like a lot.
Yeah. And I think her replacement was going to be $200 an hour, and he couldn't do more than 40 hours. I was like, I would want that, but I think it changes you though, because you're making this amount of money. Are you really going to solve problems? Are you going to really solve these issues? I don't know. I think you're only going to focus on getting reelected and staying in that position.
I think that's a big problem is you do what you can to make the people that are going to elect you happy. And so instead of like fixing the actual, like, we have actual issues. I saw something, I don't know, this is unrelated at all, but like, our roads in Yuba City, Marysville are always like, they're notoriously bad. And I saw a post today about we're getting like license plate readers, the share, and it's like, and I saw something like, why the fuck are we getting license plate readers? Like, can you fix the roads first and then maybe like, it's just one of those things where it's like, we have so much stuff happening here. Like, can we just get like solve our actual problems? Like, people have been upset about the roads for as long as I've been here, which is like 20 years. Like, the roads have never been that great. Is anyone going to solve the road issue, or is that like?
Yeah, no, I saw that thing too. I think it was in Marysville where they're going to bring it up in the city council meeting next Tuesday. And I read something exactly about it in the Southern Bay Area, Los Altos. Do you know where that is? Los Gatos. Do you know?
Yeah.
So it's a real nice area. Alex Smith used to live there, and like some of the Niners. It's a really, really nice area. And it helped because I guess there's like older people that are retired, and there's like carjacking, car theft, right? And I think a lot of police departments are very poorly staffed right now, and a lot of people don't want to be cops because I've been seeing like in Redding, $40K signing bonuses to become a cop.
Oh yeah, because they can't get anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, it was like, okay, maybe this can help, where there's something 24/7, seeing people that don't have license plates or stealing cars and passing through, and they can get them without having to manually punch in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know anything about it. I think people picture like everywhere you go, like there's some eye in the sky tracking your license plate and following you everywhere you go. And now the city knows everything you did. And people they probably worry about. Maybe it's a good idea to worry about this, so we to keep things in check. But like, oh, I'm going 66 and a 65. Now they have my license plate. They can just send me a ticket. Like.
Yeah, I know. I thought exactly the same thing. I was like, I don't want to be monitored, right? Like the NSA and everything on your phone, right? I don't know if you listened to that one guy who was from Spain and was like in the tech industry and was saying that's impossible. They can't get everything. I mean, imagine it. Imagine somebody listening into you, like
to all the data and all that. Yeah, it's too much data.
Well, who knows? Maybe there's an AI that can shift through that, right? And knows when to grab stuff and like highlights it and like puts it in boxes. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like at this point in time, with the advancements we have in like technology, nothing would surprise me that because like if you have like an Alexa, it's always listening because it doesn't seem like it because you can talk, but like the second you say Alexa, like it had to be waiting for you to say that. Like it didn't turn on after you said that. It was like just sitting there fucking waiting for you to say Alexa. I'm sure it's probably hearing all the other shit you're saying too. Who knows? Like, are they capturing that at all and storing it somewhere? I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's ridiculous. And they probably can't do much with 99% of the data. But they have the data. Like they, we've all seen the thing where we say something stupid and all of a sudden we get ads for like fucking pooper scoopers or some shit. Like, it's like, why? I was just saying I'd pick up the dog poop outside and like, and getting weird ads. And it's like, ugh.
Yeah, no, I think, privacy is an issue because we all sign up, we all agree, right, to give away our data. And I mean, I recently upgraded to an iPhone, the newer ones, and I was always Android. And then I don't know if you listen.
Welcome to the club.
You've always been Apple?
For a long time now, yeah.
Well, I used to be like, even like my old Apple Cloud, like all the pictures from 2017 went up immediately. But I was just thinking, it's more private, but if you use the Apple Maps, nothing compared to Google Maps. Have you used Google Maps?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever told you I Ubered for like a year.
I think I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. So I did it from like 2016 to 2017, and Google Maps was just always would tell you, right, like there's traffic or avoid this area. And like if you're looking for stuff, I think Google Maps is probably one of the best.
Way better. I tried using DuckDuckGo, which is like the secure search engine.
It's not that good.
I was like this thing sucks compared. Like I thought like I think usually when you search for something like okay, you kind of have a pretty good idea, so you search for it and it should be coming up. Like DuckDuckGo sucks. Like I'm all for like security and privacy and all that stuff, but it sucks. Like there's so many times where I'm like fuck this. I'm gonna go to Google and that dude's gonna give me the exact thing that I want right there. Like first answer. Like
I know.
Yeah.
And I mean that's a tricky thing because all your data, right, gets stored and it helps with a better search and where you're located, right? But then, I mean, I think recently, what was it, like a zero hack for Chrome?
For Chrome, yeah.
Right.
A 0 day.
Have they fixed that?
Yeah, I think that, yeah. They got it. I'm pretty sure they got it fixed right away. If you haven't updated your Chrome, update it now.
Yeah, I just deleted it. I stopped using it. I use Brave. I don't know if you know what Brave browser is.
I haven't used it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've been using it. Well, I started getting into crypto, was it last year? I don't even know. I mean, I've always been a very big crypto fanatic. Just because when I heard about it, I don't know how 2008, if it affected you, but it affected us really bad, right? And I remember hearing about Satoshi Nakamoto and creating a currency that's deflationary, right? It's not going to...
Because it's got a limit of 21 million coins and you can't,
And I mean, the whole point of it was for me and you and everybody be able to transactions between us. But it, big tech or, Wall Street, they all get into it and it just changes it.
It messes it, yeah.
But I'm pretty bullish on it. I mean, are you worried right now about everything that's going on with like gas?
So this is a hard one because I feel like because I work for the state and I've worked there for over 20 years now, I feel so secure in my job. I make okay money. Like I'm established in my house, so it's like I don't really worry about. I mean, I'm not like I feel stuck. Like I can't like get up and move across the country or anything like that. Like I can't do that. There's a lot of things I can't do. So I'm pretty limited to like doing what I'm doing right now with the state, being at the house I'm at. But I don't worry about any of that shit. Like it is zero. Like I mean, it sucks when like, you know, my wife's got to commute some, and gas prices are up, and food's expensive. It's like, oh shit, like it's this much.
Is your daughter already 18 or?
She 16, just got her permit, so we've been hitting the road lately with a new driver on the road. But yeah, so I haven't worried at all about anything, which I've been super thankful for that. And I feel like I just got lucky. Just what, you know, I think it was my dad's fault probably, because he was like, work for the, because my mom worked for the state. My dad was a lumber salesman. My dad just pounded him ahead. Work for the state as long as you can. You know, just like it's whatever. And it was just like that's what I ended up doing. And it was, I mean, he was kind of, I mean, like I feel, like I said, I feel stuck, and I don't always feel like I have a lot of freedom, which is stressful. I think that's the biggest stress, is like not feeling like I have purpose, or I get stressed out about that, of like, what am I supposed to do? Like I'm not doing like my passion or whatever that means. But no, I haven't worried about really anything. I'm high enough up where I make enough to where I don't have to worry. Job security's there. You know, but it's all covered for me right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, with me, just 2008, like everything went bad. You know, business used to be booming, and I don't think it ever. I left the family business shortly after, just because it's tough to work with parents who don't speak English and are from another country. And I mean, I'm raised Roman Catholic, right? And to some extent, I believed it. To some extent, I don't know more. I consider myself spiritual. You know?
I think most people are going to a spiritual rather than
so?
a certain religion or.
I mean, I don't know. From the people, well, a lot of Mexicans I know are very conservative and still believe in like prayer and if it helps you, great, you know. But to me, it's more like meditating, right? Getting into that space of letting thoughts not consume you, not having your voice, that voice
take
always
over.
running,
Yeah.
And that's what and it doesn't even take that long, you know, 10, 15, 20 minutes. You don't have to be doing it for an hour. I mean, I'm sure you can get in the zone, but if you practice that morning and night, I mean, it's so transformative, you know?
So start with just 5 minutes and build up from there. But yeah, it's I think prayer and meditation, and I think all that stuff's the exact same thing. Like I think it all comes from the same place. It does the exact same thing. It's just a different way. You know, I think prayer sounds weird. Like, oh, you're talking to a guy in the sky. Like it sounds like, well, it's like, dear Jesus. Like what am I doing here? Like one more time. Like it sounds weird, and it's like I feel like you're asking for things sometimes.
Yeah,
it's like, but when you meditate, you maybe meditate on a certain thing, or you know, like I think manifestation is another one of those things where it's all kind of the same. Like when you think about it and you, I don't know, just meditate on it, your brain starts to like. And the same thing with your prayer. When you ask Jesus for whatever or God for whatever, it's like your brain connects to that and you know, it starts thinking about it like in the background, you know, and it's like eventually you start getting answers. You start. You know, if you start trying to manifest something or you meditate on something, your brain starts to think about it. You start focusing on it, and you start making decisions towards that thing instead of making a bunch of bad decisions. You know, and you know, if you're trying to get a six pack, and you're always thinking about it, right? You meditate on it, you pray on it, you manifest it. All of a sudden, when that pack of Hershey's Kisses comes up, you're like, "Fuck that, man! I want a six pack," and you're not going to eat it anymore, right? You're going to make the right decision, you know, without even thinking about it.
No, that is kind of funny. Yeah, that's really funny. Man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. With me, I kind of became a workaholic coming back to work here. And winter was really tough just because it usually is. My parents were in Mexico for 2 months, and I was working like 80-hour weeks. And we were like crazy short staffed. Like people started getting COVID. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So they're kind of forced to stay home, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes it was just me and another guy. And I think in like Christmas time, I don't know if it was Christmas Eve or the day after Christmas. It was just me and some other guy. And 2 other people called out. And there was a van parked behind our business. And I was like, why is that van there, you know? And then later, I don't know if it was the next, or somebody told me that they were breaking into small businesses. and Gridley. There's like a tap house or rail house or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
They sell like beer on tap.
Sounds good though.
So I don't know but it's a small business, but they broke into and they even cut the power, right?
Oh wow.
So then I was like, what's going on, right? And then I think another person on like North Beale Road had like that boiling crab. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Don't know that one
No,
either.
I don't know what it's called, but I guess they shot at the door and it didn't come down. And I think they would like cut the power, shoot at the door, and if it came down, they would run in and take the register or whatever. And I was thinking, you know what? I think those were the same guys. And when I tried to go look back at my video, it was already 7 days, and I couldn't go back. But that was a thing too, where I was like, see that license plate reader.
I was just gonna say, I wish we had a fucking license plate reader now. Like, who is this guy?
But I don't know if they might have caught him or they might have just left, because I think there's a lot of people coming in from like other counties and other cities. Have you been hearing about those robberies in nice areas in the Bay Area where they're coming from like South America?
I didn't hear about South America, but yeah, I've seen like they come in like groups of people where they just rush a store and take a bunch of shit, and everyone's like, okay, here you go. Like what are you gonna do? There's 20 of them.
Yeah, no, there's been Hillsboro. Have you heard of Hillsboro? It's a really nice. Everything's like a couple $1 million houses.
No.
And they're taking safes and stealing cars, and they're supposedly the FBI is saying that it's groups from South America. Why South America? I have no idea. And they say it's like a vacation crime spree. They come to like real rich areas and there's like nothing there, right? Where no security or whatever. And they're specific. I mean, how do they know? I don't know.
Facebook, bro. They're looking on Facebook in nice areas, or they're peeking these people's profiles. They get an idea of like. I mean, that's what I would do.
It makes sense. Because you get these random friend requests from these people that you have no idea.
People give away all the information on Facebook. And if you get an idea of like, oh, this neighborhood doesn't look too secure, and it looks like they have a lot of money, I bet you we can take 20 guys up here and take everything and leave before anyone actually cares.
That makes sense.
And if they get, I mean, and like it feels Wild Westy right now. Like if they got caught, what are they going to do? Are they going to get deported? Are they going to go to jail for a long time? Like, especially with COVID, like, I don't know, man. Like, you hear local stories where people get caught, and it's like, well,
they kind of
can't really do much. I just read a story about like a guy that was like attacking people. He got arrested and then released, released, and for attack, like he was attacking cops, and what it was like within like a week or something. It was like 3 times. I can't remember this whole story, but it was just like, shouldn't this guy like be put away for a little bit, like for attacking people and assaulting a cop and like? But I don't know. It's weird times right now.
Yeah. COVID has kind of shown a lot of cracks in like the systems, like everything, right? From manufacturing to shipping to everything. Like we're so vulnerable, you know.
I was just having this conversation with my buddy. He owns Phoenix Ridge. And the lady that owns it.
What's Phoenix Ridge?
It's a screen printing shop on Plumas Street. They do. I got like so many of their shirts, man.
Oh, just T-shirts?
Well, they do screen printing.
Or it's like a printing?
They do screen printing and embroidery, but they sell like some of their own branded T-shirts.
Okay.
Favorite shirts, man. I love them. They're only $10 too, so it's a good deal. Good shirt is way to go. But she was saying like, yeah, man, we have our like supply chain issue. Like it's hard to get these cool shirts. We've been switching out shirts, and it's just shirts, but like it highlights like before the whole COVID thing, like you just order stuff without thinking, and now it's like you walk into Walmart and like, where's all the fucking vegetables right now? Like what's going on here? Like where is you see like an empty section in Walmart, and it's like that doesn't seem right. Like you guys gonna restock this thing, or you realize how delicate the supply chain actually is, and once it kind of gets a little shaky, all of a sudden things start not showing up, and it was like it gets a little like surreal when you're in Walmart and you see an empty shelf and you're like, man, like what if 2 shelves were empty? What if this whole aisle was empty? What if there was no bread in this aisle? Like you can kind of start to visualize like, damn, maybe I should start growing my own food. Maybe I should start like learning how to hunt or something. You know what I mean?
You know what? That's kind of the thing that got into my head in 2008. And that's still kind of my long-term goal, is to buy land. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it here anymore. But I kind of feel like there's a crash coming, because You know, everything, it almost looks exactly like 2006, 2007, because I knew a lot of people in real estate back then, and everyone was refinancing. Everybody was taking equity out of their homes, right? Buying cars, buying Hummers, Escalades. And then you see now, and it's all these big trucks, right? And I think about that, and I go, is that going to happen again? Like, is it going to crash? Because I kind of feel like it's, and if it does, then great. I'll go buy some land somewhere and
get a good deal. Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if I want to buy a house, though. I think I just want land. Do you know who Kyle Kingsbury is?
No, but it sounds familiar.
So he used to be a UFC fighter. He married one of the ring girls. He was from San Jose.
Attaboy.
And he was part of On It. Like, he was like a branch of like Aubrey Marcus's podcast. And he was kind of like a guinea pig. Like, he would do you know what an NDA is?
Non-disclosure agreement?
No, is that what any day. I forget what it. I don't know if they're like stem cells or something that get injected into your gut.
Yeah.
And it lowers your biological age. But I think you got to get it through an IV, NAD.
Okay.
They're called NADs. I don't know. Like Dr. Rhonda Patrick was talking about them. But supposedly it takes like 6 hours, and if it goes faster than that, then like your gut feels like it's on fire.
Wow.
But after, it like will lower your biological age, and it will lengthen your telomeres on your.
I like that. That sounds like a good idea.
So he was like on its guinea pig, right? He'd take peptides, everything,
all that stuff,
all everything, right? And now, like, he is really much into sustainable farming. He bought like 100 acres. I don't know if it's in Austin or south of Austin. And he's really big into like conspiracy theories. Like, I don't know if he's a conspiracy theorist. Like, I recently started listening to him again. But he put a link on this one solo cast he had in November talking about Plandemic. Have you heard of that?
I've kind of heard. I love conspiracy theories. I never believe any of them because that's like my skeptical mind just doesn't believe anything. But I've heard of Plandemic, but I didn't like dive into it.
I don't know. I watched it and I was like, wow, it's so one-sided. Like, is this real? Like, and it's kind of nuts because they have like these training programs. That was in 2019. Like, this is what everyone's going to talk about when the pandemic hits, like pre-COVID.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And it was weird. Like, why did they do all this? And like, having patents for COVID, right? Like, all these different companies had patents and they didn't even care. And like, do you believe in the lab leak theory?
What is that one?
The lab leak theory?
Like the Wuhan, like it came out of like it. I mean, that seems plausible. Like I haven't followed that in a while, but it seems like it's pretty plausible that there was some sort of lab leak in Wuhan where the virus originated from.
I don't know where I heard this or where. I think, do you know Lex Friedman is?
Yeah.
So he had somebody on there, I don't know who he was, and they were talking about that Wuhan Lab and how like 30 to 50 virus specialists or whatever you want to call them, right? That they wanted to build this lab there, but it had to go under French strict code and
for like safety.
Yes. And in the end, only one French dude stayed because the Chinese government was outsourcing all the work to like make it cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And if you don't follow all, you know, if you're not all strict with your building materials and everything, because it's a virus.
It's a deadly ass virus. That sounds like it was. I mean, like
it sounds like a movie.
It sounds like it was like mutated to affect humans more. Like I mean, that's like what it. I mean, again, I don't follow stuff closely because it's so much nicer not hearing this stuff all the time. It's way better for my mental health. But like, it sounds like it was like leaked from escaped or whatever from fucking Prison Break from a lab in China, and it was engineered to be more deadly to humans and more contagious to humans. I have no idea. Like I said, I don't follow that enough, but like that's what like the gist I get, where it's like that seems pretty plausible depending on who you listen to.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because like a lot of records were burned by the Chinese government, and some of the first doctors that warned that what was happening were killed immediately. They killed or they died from. They died from.
Yeah, but that's the thing with China. Like I would say, maybe especially with China, you don't know what you're getting. Like you're getting information. Is that the real story? Is that like what are you actually getting? You don't really know.
And I mean, to me, like think about China. How bad the pollution is. Is the food as good as the food here? Like, I don't think it is, man. It's like a lot of it is GMOs and
MSG. They probably got some high MSG foods over there too, I bet.
Like, have you heard about like they're recycling like oil from the gutters and stuff in China? Have you heard about that?
No.
Yeah. So like, you know who Ari Shafir is?
Yeah.
He was out there. He was like years ago, and he was just talking about how they like would recycle it, and how when he went to the bathroom, there's just holes in the stalls, right? He's like, where's the toilet? There's just holes in the stalls, and you have to like grab on and stuff. And he was saying that the street vendors, they go and from like certain gutters, wherever it's like coming out, they recycle the oil from there.
That's crazy.
So I mean, I've never been there, and I can just imagine, right? A communist country, right? Just how bad it is there. So, like, is there? I don't think there's not even bees there, right? In China.
It wouldn't surprise me if there's no bees in China.
Yeah. Good. I don't know if you remember the Olympics, how bad the pollution was.
I've heard it was pretty. I mean, I've seen like pictures of China where it's just like that looks pretty bad. That looks. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know how versus like LA, because I'm sure LA is probably pretty polluting in LA too.
But I think it's worse.
But I feel like it's probably worse. But I feel like they don't have a lot of regulation like in America.
No.
Like we got some shit where like you got to keep this shit clean like the best you can. And I think we send like when we recycle like electronics. I feel like don't quote me on this, but I feel like our recycling is we ship it all to China and they burn it or something. Like they throw it in a fucking volcano or something.
I think they used to. I think they used to. They used to take it all and reuse it or whatever, but I don't think they do anymore.
It wasn't like healthy. Like it was probably a guy with a COVID mask, but not the N95. Just melting all this metal to try to get the copper out or something. Like it wasn't like we're not really recycling. We're just putting fumes in the air. We're just putting them in China instead of in America.
But that's why I think. That's what I think is COVID's killing people. I believe it's not that it is bad. I know it's real, and even here in the United States, like there's this guy called the model Sean Stevenson. He has a model health show, and it's just about kind of being healthier and little steps to get here and there. But prior to having his own podcast, he was a data analysis on health, right? And he was showing that like the 3 causes of deaths in the United States was heart disease, diabetes, and obesity, right? And a lot of COVID deaths were comorbidities.
With those 3, huh?
Yeah, and it wasn't, it wasn't just straight COVID, and even in the beginning, remember they were putting the tubes down it, and they're even popping their lungs. They're not gonna admit.
Yeah.
That they were doing that.
It seems like the numbers have been so
skewed,
like skewed, or just like unclear. Like it's hard to get like what is the actual number? Like because people do die of COVID,
yeah,
and it is serious. But like there's comorbidities, and it's like most healthy people aren't dying. Like they're getting it. They're maybe
how many people from the NFL, from the NBA. Right?
Yeah. So and this is like during like the Delta variant, which was pretty. I feel like now it's like it's mutated enough to where it's like contagious but cool. Like COVID, no big deal. But like there were some serious strains of it, and I feel like people. I feel like it really affected the heart disease, obesity, the diabetic people. Like it affected them the most.
Autoimmune.
Yeah, which is like. Just fucking take care of yourself, man. That's what we're here for. Like.
I remember that was like one of the first things I was starting to do because I would wake up early. Sometimes I would, sleep 5-6 hours, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sleep 8. I don't care. I'm gonna force
get your rest.
Yeah, and not like you said, not look at the news. I stopped completely with the news because it was just so overwhelming. Like, oh, it's this. I don't know if you remember, like 2020. It seemed like Kobe Bryant died, and then. You know, the deadly wasp.
Oh yeah.
It was like it was never.
It was like
gonna
one
end.
thing after another.
And there's a giant chicken coming out of the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I notice it's like, I'll go in cycles with news where like I'll listen to it and like I think what the fuck am I like? What is this doing? Like whenever have I listened to news is like this is something important I should jot down and do something about. Never. Like I've never like it's never affected me. It's never or at least something that I can change. So I realized like when I shut it all off, like in about a week, all of a sudden it's like the sky looks a little bluer. Like I'm a little bit happier. Like I get like a little bit better sleep, and I'm like, wow, my heart's just normally beating. It's not like pounding, and it's not like I'm not stressed out constantly. It's like, wait a minute, life's pretty good when you don't watch the fucking news.
Yeah.
You go outside and you talk to your neighbor. You go down to fucking Justin's kitchen, you have a drink, and you have a great conversation with some stranger next to you, and it's like. The news sucks, man.
I know. Yeah. We're lucky to be where we are.
Yeah, I feel like the news is just a bunch of it's just the worst things that you can talk about to get people's attention so they keep listening. And I don't know, the world is so much better than what you see on the news. Like I 100% believe that.
I do too. No, I do too. I mean, this is what's the important thing, communication amongst people, not arguing, not, I believe this or I believe that. Do you think that's kind of settled down with people kind of having their own beliefs? Is that beginning to fade away or?
Are people starting to communicate again or are people like getting?
I feel that people still put people in boxes and define people a certain way.
You're a Republican. You're a liberal.
So you fit in this box. If you're this, you're this. It used to be like that. I don't know. Like I'm beginning to kind of see that people are beginning.
It's starting to unwind. I feel like with the new generation, I feel like with younger kids. I feel like I don't know. I mean, I've got a kid and whatever. I'm not like fucking hanging out with him all the time.
You want some water or another whiskey?
I'm good right now. Yeah. I feel like they are like, and this could just be my tiny slice of what I see. I feel like they're like fucking rubbing their eyes and like, fucking everybody's insane. Like, what is happening here? Like, we're not going to be like these nut jobs. We're not going to be arguing with everybody constantly. We're not going to be nitpicking and yelling at people and just being against everything. I feel like they're kind of like, I feel like they have this like thing that they can see the world and be like, that's not sustainable. Which I kind of feel like that. Like this is my like theory on like how everything works is, you have like a generation and they have some faults. Like whatever you start like the 50s or whatever. And it's like, and people were still kind of racist in the 50s or whatever. And then the next generation's like, yeah, my dad's kind of racist. Like he kind of was like, he wasn't the best person. Like I'm not gonna be as racist as that guy. And then, but maybe you're still a little bit racist because your dad was racist, so you got, whatever. And then that person has a kid, and all of a sudden it's like, racism's dumb, but the gays, like, they're kind of wacky. Like, I don't know what trust, and that person has a kid, like, my mom wasn't racist, but she kind of hates the gays, and I don't know why she, and then, so it's like, what people expect, like, to, like, there's a light switch where, like, okay, like, we, like in the 80s, like, it was probably, like, people weren't coming out as gay all the time because it was, like, dangerous to be, they think it's like a light switch where you're like, you turn it on and all of a sudden like everyone accepts people for everything. You know what I mean? But it's not. It takes time. So I always feel like you have some shitty behaviors in one generation. The next generation's like, we're going to be less shitty than my parents were. And the next generation, we're going to be less shitty. Next generation. So it's not a light switch. We don't just flip the switch and all of a sudden we're enlightened. It takes generations to overcome the dumb shit that our parents did and the dumb shit our grandparents did. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, no,
but we all think it has to happen now. So it's like, if you're not fucking believing in gender, whatever, like right now, like, then you're a fucking insane, whatever the arguments are. Like, I don't pay attention to that stuff, but it's like, maybe the gender thing's totally valid. Maybe there's some weird shit with gender that like, our whole lives we've been conditioned to be like man and woman, like whatever. But then you have the manly dude that's kind of feminine. Like, I don't know, like. Maybe in like 3 generations be like, oh no, like there's some science to kind of back up this, and everyone's just kind of, yeah, you got boys have a penis, girls have a vagina, the famous kindergarten compliment. But maybe it is more, maybe it's not as clear as boy girl for certain things. Like I don't know, I'm just using as an example. Like it's not one generation has a point of view that's kind of shitty, and each generation gets a little bit better, a little bit clearer. But every generation has their own faults, and just through enough time, we kind of figure that out. We get a little better. There's a new issue that we got to deal with. Figure it out, get better. New issue, and I don't know. I have no idea where I was going with that or how I got caught on a tangent.
I get it.
But
no. I mean, that's a whole thing, to just kind of exercise whatever we're thinking. I mean, we don't have agendas. To me, I think conversations are for people to take away from them.
Yeah.
Everybody, we're all learning from whatever somebody's saying, and sometimes it can resonate, sometimes it doesn't. And to me, it's just, I'm all about community. I want to see people just coming together and solving problems, because I kind of feel like we're beginning to, like,
we're getting there. Getting there.
Like, I don't believe in all this, like, what's it called, with all the signs and that, Virgo is in Mercury.
Astrology or
do you believe any of that?
No, but I'm a fucking Libra. Every time I read Libra shit, I'm like, that's fucking me to a T. Like that is. Well,
I believe too, like the description, but like I was listening to somebody. I don't know why I came across this, and they're talking about we're in the age of Aquarius.
Okay.
And I think it started like in February, and there's these cycles, I guess, that the planet goes through. What's the two fish?
Is it Pisces?
So we just ended that.
Okay.
So, and I guess Pisces is where you're easily manipulated, materialistic, right? Like it was a whole trend of humanity, though. It's like, I don't know if it's like 15,000 years.
I think it's like 12 or 15,000 years where it goes to a new age, yeah.
Right, and we just came into it, I think, in February. And it's where we realize that we don't need governments, and that we're capable.
We're starting to wake up a little more to
that, like even the kids nowadays that are being born, they're more aware and conscious of things.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was a kid, I didn't know anything, right? And I was like confused about everything, and I wouldn't really talk. I was kind of quiet because I was like, I don't want to sound dumb, And I was always. Everyone thought I was serious, but it was like, no, I just want to know. But the thing is, like the older people I was around, not my parents, but like neighbors and stuff, they were kind of crazy, right? And I go, dude, why would all these adults make shit up, right?
Yeah.
I had this one guy who told me, because I grew up in Santa Cruz in a little town called Watsonville, and this one, I can't remember what he was. He was like, when I was in high school, we won the World Series. And I was like, I never heard of that. I was like, is that real?
This guy bullshit me this whole time.
He was. And I even interviewed him for something. And he was like, war is good because,
it stimulates the economy or something.
You lower the populations. And I was like, what this? But I remember a lot of older people that, Kyle Kingsbury, he says you have olders who are kind of like mad and always like upset about, and then you have elders, right, who can like talk to you about stuff about like meditation and like a different point of view, and are more expansive and are kind of living in the moment, and you can learn from them, and they're still learning. And it felt like all the adults that I was running into, a majority of them didn't. They were making shit up.
They're just making shit up. Yeah, I can 100% see that, man. There's. Yeah, especially as a kid, where you hear people like, "What, adults just go out and lie to kids?" Like that doesn't make sense to a kid. So you hear these things and like, huh?
But maybe because there was no internet back then, right? So everyone can. How are you going to prove if that's real or not? Wait, what?
The problem with the internet now, though, it's like the reverse problem of everybody can be proved right or wrong. Like there is something on the internet to prove. I bet you if you look up the population thing from wars and lowering the population, I bet you can find articles of like, scientifically, this is actually great for global warming. Like you can probably find some article that's like supports that like very validly of like, damn, that makes a lot of sense. And you can find the same thing of how terrible wars are for everything. You know what I mean? I think the problem with the internet is there's so much information and there's so many people putting all sorts of shit out there, and a lot of it sounds. This is why I don't watch documentaries often, because usually, like when there's a documentary, the person has an agenda. They have some sort of agenda, but when you watch it, it's like, fuck, man. Like, I got to stop eating meat, or I got to stop eating this, or I got to stop. We can't do fracking. But then if you see the counterpoints, and it's like that documentary was full of shit. I think but maybe that person countering the documentary is full of shit. Like you don't know. Like people are so good at presenting information that sounds so accurate until you get somebody that like rebuts it and like, well, that person sounds right too. Like you can't have two things, two opposite points of view both be right, but they both sound convincing. So it's like. It fucks with your mind. I think that's the time when I go grab that bag of Hershey's Kisses. And it's just like, you know what? I can't deal with this anymore. I'm just gonna eat these things and watch TV.
Are you still doing jiu-jitsu? I remember.
No, I keep thinking about it. I took a Muay Thai class not too long ago, and I was like, I was doing the warm ups, and I was just like, there's a bunch of younger kids in there, and I had like 3 laps around this tiny ring, and I was just like, oh fuck, I'm dying. Like this is not. Like, I am not in shape as much as I thought. I was ready. Like, I've been, like, lifting a little bit of weights, and I'd be like, I'm ready for this. Like, no. I was dying. But I keep thinking about going back to jiu-jitsu. My buddy just started his own academy. Like, he launched his own...
Here in Yuba City?
Yuba City, yeah. Ground Up Jiu-Jitsu.
Is it that one over there by, like, Habit Burger? And that little...
No, they're in the Hillcrest. They're in the Hillcrest thing. I think the one by Habit Burger was Empire. I don't think they're there anymore. I don't think they are. Maybe they
Where's
are.
Hillcrest? Here on Clark?
It's on Clark and
Okay.
yeah. So they just started within the last month. They started their own school and
Is it Sean Tribble or?
Yeah, Sean.
For some reason, I thought he started in Sacramento. He has one in Sacramento as well, or?
I think he lives in Sacramento.
Okay. Because he used to do the Gracie Baja, right?
Yeah.
And I seen that he left Gracie Baja.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought he took it to Sacramento. I didn't know he did it here.
No, he's in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been out from not doing jiu-jitsu?
It's been years. I went back for like a fundraiser thing one time, and I was like, oh god, like jiu-jitsu is so taxing. Like it is. So hard, and I love it. Like I think like every day, like I should go back. But it's like you have to go at least a couple times a week, which I like. I went back for a short time like years ago, and I went like once a month, and I was like, I'm paying a lot of money to go once a month, and I'm not getting any better.
Yeah.
But I love jiu-jitsu. Like I keep thinking I should go back.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a sign.
You look fitter though. Are you walking or just working out at home or body weight?
I was going to the gym. Like I started like actually lifting like barbell, which I've never done before. I've never been strong, and like, I was like squatting like 135, and I was like, fuck yeah, like I'm feeling pretty like. And then I realized like, oh, 135, like that's like baby, like that's like baby weights, like it's not,
that's okay.
And so like I started focusing a little more on eating protein, which I'm not good at eating protein because like my wife's a vegetarian and I don't end up making a lot of meat, so I end up eating mostly vegetarian shit or junk food. So I started like trying to like intentionally increase my protein, which was a huge help. And I just doing some basic barbell like just doing squat, deadlift, and bench press.
No issues? Your knees, your hips, everything's good?
No, yeah, everything felt pretty fine. I mean, I started off really light because it was like with the bench press, I was scared to go down and not come back up, and then like it's weird for me, like, 'cause I'm not a gym guy, so like I don't ask people for especially it feels weird when I'm in like 6'1" and like 250 pounds, like, hey guys, I'm doing 125 here, can you spot me, like. It feels like, dude. So, but after doing it for a few months of just that, I was like, I got pretty comfortable, and all of a sudden I was like throwing on 45 plates, and like, and I still feel like it's not strong, but like I've never been a strong person, but like all of a sudden I was like, I was deadlifting,
feels good when
275, and like this feels like. Is this what strength? Like, here's what it did. It gave me a glimpse of what strength feels like, and like when you feel strong. You start like walking a little taller, you start feeling a little more confident, you start feeling pretty damn good about yourself when you're just like I said, I feel like I was at the beginning of strength, not even like a strong person, but.
No, I think it's good, because it helps with like bone density and sleeping, everything.
Oh, yeah.
It helps with like relieving stress, right? Like I love weightlifting, but for some reason I've been having a lot of issues with like, I don't know if it's my rotator cuff or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like I can't bench. And so I've been doing a lot of like crazy stabilizer exercises or kettlebells, more mobility.
I started doing kettlebell. Like, so I see. I always worried about that of lifting too, because you know, in the age of like TikToks and YouTube Reels and Facebook Reels or whatever, like I'll see a lot of videos of like dudes lifting too heavy and like their knees collapsing or something, you know, just like the weirdest like workout injuries. And I was like, I'm not trying to be that guy. Like so, but I always worried about injuring something, especially that I'm 41 years old. Like I'm not a spring chicken anymore. And so I'm sure I probably could have gone heavy on some of these things, but I took it very careful.
You're doing it smart.
Which
you're not trying to do 1 rep max and everything.
No. Everything. It was like a workout set, and if it felt too heavy, I'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna take these weights off my lower a little bit, because which is usually growing up, like I wasn't a big worker outer, but I would do things until I hurt myself. Like I would do yoga, and I'd be like, I want to be the best fucking yoga person in here, and I would do whatever position. Like I don't care if it hurt, I don't care if it was like whatever. Like I would just try to be like, I would push myself too far, and the next day I'd be like, I think I tweaked my shoulder, like something's hurting, like this is probably not good. But I finally, like, it took till about when I was 40, where I finally like, okay, like check your ego, man. Like, cool, if these 45 plates are too heavy, like throw on the fucking 25s or 35s and see how that goes, and be cool with that. Like it's fine. But I started doing kettlebell. I started doing I have a mace bell, and I love that thing. So I started doing like swings with that, and doing more like non-traditional stuff to focus on more focus on like movement and like
functional strength,
just functional stuff.
Maybe that's what's getting you stronger, you know, because a lot of like kettlebells and like you said, that mace, those things are like unconventional movements, you know, and you have all these rotator cuffs and all these stabilizers everywhere. And I feel that that's probably what messes up my shoulder. Was I've been working out since I've been like 15, off and on, not every day. And I think it's just like from overuse, you know,
of doing too much.
And I'm just sticking down to like push-ups and stuff. Just being careful, you know. I don't, like you said, you start getting to a point where you're getting heavier and heavier, and then like something's off, or a couple days later you're like.
That's right. So I just transitioned to like doing kettlebells and mace bells and some non-traditional stuff, because I felt like at the gym I was doing like squats, and I was doing like 250 whatever, and I was like, I was like, cool, I didn't think I could do this, and I went to do it again, and I was like, I couldn't do it, and I felt off, and I felt weird, and my form was off, and I was like, I felt like I was starting to tweak things, and I was just like, you know, like I don't want to get hurt being 41 and not, you know, whatever. And I've been watching this guy on Instagram.
Who do you watch?
His tag is, I think it's Exit Comfort Zone. It's like this bald Swedish dude. He's like, listen up, my little pumpkins, like, and he just like talks shit and swings around a fucking mace. And it's like, I like that guy's view on fitness, because I see a lot of videos of like bodybuilders where it's like, you do this workout to work out this, and I was like, I don't fucking want, like, I don't care what I look like. I don't want to be like.
You just want to feel good.
I just want to feel good. I want to be able to move, and like this goes back to the overwhelm of information. It's like, you got to work out your quads, your leg, you got to do this workout. Like this guy just does a couple fucking exercises and he works out everything, and it seems to be like movements that you would do normally. Like it seems to be like all encompassing, and that registers with my mind. Of like, that makes sense to me. I can get on board with that. I can follow that. I can be motivated to do that, where it feels like I'm actually doing something. Because I'll see guys at the gym sometimes, and it's like, whatever they're doing, it's like, that's like 20 pounds. Like, is that effective? I don't know if they're doing more. I don't know. Like, I'm not judging them, but it's like,
it's a waste of time too.
And they look dope, dude. They got these big old muscles or whatever, but it's like,
those big muscles are gonna keep you all immobile and all stiff.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I just want to, like, I'm not trying to be fucking Mr. Incredible, Mr. Universe or whatever. I just want to, like, feel good. I want to get a little stronger. I want to have some good movement. I want to be able to
go hiking or
just do some normal
canoeing,
fucking
kayaking,
do some dad shit. Yeah, like not trying to, like, I'm not driving around in a fucking convertible trying to impress ladies with my biceps. Like, that's not happening right now. So it's like, I'm okay with that. Like, that's
No, I feel you. I feel the same way. Like, I just want to, my daughter's 9. I want to be able to, like, do stuff with her. Like, I wanted to run a marathon, but I kept messing myself up. Like, I'd get to, like, 15, 16 miles.
That's pretty impressive, though.
And then my shins would hurt so bad, or, like, my IT band. Like, all these different things. And I was like, Man, I need to lose weight. I think it's all the weight is compounding on all my joints, you know.
Especially if you're around cement, I feel like. Because I was running like 2 to 3 miles and it was like on cement. I was just like, my fucking feet hurt all the time. My legs hurt. I was like, this is not like this is not productive.
It doesn't get
this is not like the right thing to do for me.
I mean, I still kind of want to like just. I remember thinking back in the days like, who would want to run a marathon?
It still seems to, like a 5K. I wouldn't mind like learning how to like sprint a 5K. Like I just want to fucking dust everybody in a 5K. Like just train. Like a marathon seems stupid. Like not stupid. But like not my jam. It doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't like come off as one of those like life challenges. Like I checked this off my bucket list. I did a marathon. Like it's like.
No, I mean, eventually I want to hunt, like get into bow hunting or
that'd be cool.
just be even being out in nature, you know, even if you don't get anything, to be out there, you know, not by myself. I'm not with a guide or something.
Yeah. I love nature. I'm terrified of nature though. Like I'm like camping. Like I've never been a camper my whole entire life, and I've gone a few times, and it's like cool, like farm, like whatever. But like I realized like I went camping with my buddies like. This was probably 4 or 5 years ago. Like first time camping, like since I was a kid, and they all got like they're all gun people. They're all fucking wild men, whatever. And I'm just like at night in a tent, like wide open because every noise outside is a fucking bear or fucking like it's just I couldn't. I realized like how paranoid I was of like being in nature. I love wildlife, but it terrifies. Like it's something I got to work on. I'm sure.
No, I'm the same way, but. Just once you're out there, it's just so...
It's peaceful.
You know?
It's amazing. It's incredible. It's a weird thing. It is incredible. Like, I'll go on some hikes, and it's like, I can just be out here. I don't want to go back inside. I want to live at this fucking lake or whatever. Like, I just want to put a tent right here, just live here, if it wasn't for all the damn wild animals. You know what I mean? Like, but it is, like, rejuvenating. It, like, your soul is just... It kind of has to do with, like, there's nothing... I don't have any obligations, right? I'm out in nature... Getting fresh air. There's not like smog around me. There's no obligations. I don't need to do anything right now. There's not like I'm not sitting here and like, oh, I could be watching a show right now.
Present.
I could be on the computer researching something. No, I'm just like I ain't got shit to do but like enjoy this like nice stream trickling and hearing the birds chirp and like seeing some cool super bright green moss on the log and taking a picture of it and like really appreciating it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
No, God, man, I love, and there's so many nice places here to hike.
We got some good places around here.
You know, not even just here, like Auburn. You have.
I mean, I think with like an hour, there's just a ton of good shit.
Have you done? Oh, you haven't. Have you done Table Mountain?
Yeah, I've been there a few times. A little overcrowded now. I feel like everyone.
That's where everyone goes right now, right?
Yeah.
Like this time of year.
I think they closed some stuff off, or you can't get to certain spots now.
Okay.
Dude, it's weird. Like I've been to Table Mountain a bunch of times. Like just kind of cruising around, and then I went like I think it was like last year, and I didn't realize like if you keep hiking, there's like this. I'm sure everyone knows the name but me still, but like there's like waterfalls, and like you can hike down this big thing, and there's this cool ass waterfall, and there's salamanders, and like I thought Table Mountain was just a couple like flowers like in this little flat area. There was so much more to Table Mountain, and it was freaking amazing. But I feel like they closed some of that stuff off. I don't know where it's closed, but like.
I don't know either. I've seen people, they're beginning to go out there with groups and stuff.
Because the bloom, is that happening?
I think what you're talking about, yeah, I think that's the first thing that they do in March or April. But like you said, yeah, there is a waterfall. But I think it might be dried out by now.
Is that okay? Yeah.
I think somebody posted something about going to Table Mountain, and usually where you see this big waterfall.
It's all gone. Because I think there's some property that somebody owns and they cut it off for some private property. Or I don't know. I don't know. But it's still a cool place. It does get pretty busy, which isn't a big deal. It's just parking sucks where there's like 1,000 cars and there's no, you're parking on the side of the road and it's just like. So
probably during the week's the best time to go or something?
Probably, yeah. I don't know. It's just one of those things where like there's a lot of hiking spots. Like we
yeah, no, well it's good to know though because I didn't know that. Go somewhere else because I don't.
I don't like being. I could be wrong now. I know the last few times I've gone there, it's just been like.
I don't know. I think everything's beginning to ramp up. Like everything's getting jam packed.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe now that people can go everywhere, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like both are true. I feel like everything's ramping up, but I don't know. But people are doing. It could be that people are doing double duty, where it's like I'm going hiking, I'm going out drinking, I'm gonna eat some food, I'm gonna go to some shows. Where they're just doing everything constantly because they've been locked in their house for 2 years.
Yeah, be an interesting year. I hope. I don't know. I hope nothing but good things for everybody. I hope everyone's just taking care of themselves and enjoying everything that's out there in the world.
I think it's going to be a good year. I think I really hope people like remember. I was thinking about this. How nice it was to be locked, like to be shut down and not have any obligations. Because I think it's the biggest thing. Where I've noticed it's starting to ramp up. Where it's like, fuck, I'm doing things constantly again. Like to where it's like stressful almost. It's stressful to have fun. We're
like, trying to decide what to do.
Yeah, where it's just like, man, like it was like one of the most peaceful times when it's like everything's closed, we ain't got shit to do but hang out this house, and it was beautiful. It was just like, I hope people like remember like how nice that was of like you didn't have any obligations and you could just relax at your house, and that was it. That's all there was to life, is relaxing at your house and watching some TV, making some good food, maybe having a drink, and just enjoying that time without any of this pull from other things like.
Well, Randy, I think we're coming up to the end of this. Where can people find you? Instagram, Twitter?
Oh, that's a good question. You can find me at It's Randy Warner on pretty much everything. I think all my stuff is It's Randy Warner. You can find my podcast, the YaS Cast, Yuba and Sutter Podcast. It's on like Spotify, Apple, wherever it's found. And you can find me at randywarner.com, which I have a website. I don't do anything with it, but you can find the podcast on there as well. Follow me, whatever.
Any closing words?
I should have thought. I always think about that. Like, I should have some good closing words. I don't got any wise shit to say. Like but I think the biggest thing is love. Like, I've been big on like love. Like love people. Everyone comes from a different spot in their life. They grew up differently than you did. They have different beliefs. Just love people, man. Like that's the biggest thing. Who cares what they believe? Just fucking love them, man. Like, people who love right now.
Well, with that, thank you guys, and thank you to Randy for being the first guest here on the NorCalX YouTube channel, podcast. I'll probably have him on again, maybe go hiking with him, do something, go eat some different foods. We'll figure some things out. But
I appreciate you having me.
Thank you guys.
Thanks so much.